Alors bonsoir. Bienvenue à la séance du 15 décembre 2025. Avant de commencer, je vous avise que je ne me sens pas très bien ce soir. Donc, si jamais je devais quitter en cours de séance, Lawrence, mon prématurément, continuera de présider la séance. Je vous avise aussi que plusieurs employés de la ville sont malades aujourd'hui et cela a eu un impact sur l'organisation de la séance de ce soir. Donc, on s'excuse pour cette situation. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town Council of December 15, 2025. Before we begin, I just want to inform you that I'm not feeling very well tonight, so I might have to leave during the council. In that case, Lawrence Small and Father will continue to chair the council. Several employees of the town are also sick, which is impacting the organization of tonight's session, so we really apologize for this situation. Ouverture de la séance.
Je propose d'ouvrir la séance.
Je le seconde.
Tous en faveur?
Oui.
La séance est donc ouverte à 20h02. Adoption de l'ordre du jour.
Je propose d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire du 15 décembre 2025, modifié comme suit en ajoutant le point 9b, opposition au projet de loi 2 et appui aux médecins et professionnels de la santé du Québec, et en ajoutant le point 12a, réception provisoire du centre sportif et récréatif.
Je la seconde.
Tous en faveur? On fait?
Oui.
Oui.
Adoption des procès-verbaux.
Je propose, M. le maire, d'approuver les procès-verbaux des séances du conseil. Pardon, je recommence. M. le maire, je propose d'approuver les procès-verbaux des séances du conseil tenues aux dates suivantes. Séance ordinaire du 10 novembre 2025, séance spéciale du 27 novembre 2025, séance spéciale du 4 décembre 2025.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur?
Oui.
Rapport du maire, report of the mayor. Le dernier mois a été très enrichissant. Il a consisté en plusieurs journées de travail avec le conseil municipal pour compléter notre intégration, rencontrer tous les responsables des départements, visiter toutes les installations et équipements de la ville, rencontrer les employés, analyser le budget et traiter des affaires courantes. J'ai participé avec grand plaisir à plusieurs activités importantes pour notre communauté, le dîner avec la bibliothèque au profit de la bibliothèque des jeunes, le marché art, etc., le train des fêtes CPKC, le déjeuner avec le Père Noël, les chants de Noël à l'église unie au profit du centre de jour Saint-James, le dîner des employés, le party de Noël du Rotary Club et le souper de Noël des aînés. Je remercie tous les employés de la ville, les bénévoles et tous ceux ayant fait des dons ou contribué au succès de ces activités. The past month has been very enriching. It consisted of several working days with the Town Council to complete our integration, meeting with all the departments head, touring the town facilities and equipment, meeting employees, reviewing the budget, and handling day-to-day operation. I was delighted to participate in several important community events, the lunch at the library, fundraiser for the children's library, art, etc. market, the CPKC holiday train, breakfast with Santa, old-fashioned caroling for a cause at the United Church to benefit the St. James Drop-In Center, the employee dinner, the Rotary Club Christmas party, and the seniors' Christmas dinner. I thank all town employees, volunteers, and everyone who donated or contributed to the success of these activities. Les dernières semaines m'ont permis de rencontrer l'ensemble des 15 maires et mairesses des villes liées de l'Association des municipalités de banlieue, de siéger pour une première fois avec mes collègues au conseil d'agglomération de Montréal et de rencontrer le président du comité exécutif Claude Pinard et la mairesse de Montréal, surveillante Martinez Ferrada. Elle s'est montrée très ouverte à collaborer avec l'AMV. Lors du conseil d'agglomération, elle affirma publiquement qu'il faut travailler ensemble avec tous les maires de l'île, que tous les résidents de l'île doivent avoir le même respect, que l'agglomération doit être forte et qu'il faut travailler ensemble. Voilà donc une première prise de position publique encourageante et positive de la mairesse envers les villes liées. The past few weeks have allowed me to meet with all 15 mayors of the demerged municipalities affiliated with the Association of Suburban Municipalities, to sit for the first time with my colleagues of the Montreal Agglomeration Council, and to meet with the chair of the Executive Committee, Claude Pinard, and the mayor of Montreal, Soraya Martinez Ferrada. She was very open to collaborating with the ASB During the agglomeration council meeting, she stated that we must work together with all the mayors on the island, that all residents of the island must have the same respect, that the agglomeration must be strong, and that we must work together. There is therefore an encouraging and positive first public statement from the Mayor of Montreal regarding the demerged municipalities. De brèves rencontres ont également eu lieu avec la mairesse de l'arrondissement Côte-des-Neiges Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, Stéphanie Valenzuela, et le conseiller du district de Loyola, Alexandre Teodorescu. Ils ont chacun démontré beaucoup d'enthousiasme à collaborer, et d'autres rencontres de travail auront lieu au début de la nouvelle année. J'ai également une rencontre avec le directeur général de l'Union des municipalités du Québec. So initial brief meetings were also held with the mayor of Côte-des-Neiges, NDG Borough, Stéphanie Valenzuela, and the councillor of Loyola District, Alexandre Teodorescu. They each demonstrate great enthusiasm for collaboration, and further working meetings will take place at the beginning of the new year. I also met the executive director of the Union of Quebec Municipalities. J'ai été élu par l'AMB pour représenter les villes liées au conseil de la communauté métropolitaine de Montréal, la CMM. Une première rencontre du conseil de la CMM réunissant les maires de Montréal, Longueuil, Laval, des élus de l'île de Montréal et des maires des couronnes nord et sud a eu lieu le 11 décembre dernier. À cette occasion, la ministre responsable de la métropole et de la région de Montréal, Chantal Rouleau, a présenté le nouveau plan métropolitain d'aménagement et de développement du Grand Montréal 2026-2046. So I was elected by the ASM to represent the demerged cities at the Montreal Metropolitan Community, CMM Council. The first meeting of the council bringing together the mayors of Montreal, Longueuil, Laval, elected officials from the island of Montreal, and mayors from the north and south shore of Montreal took place on December 11th. At this meeting, Minister responsible for the metropolis in the Montreal region, Chantal Rouleau, presented the new Greater Montreal Metropolitan Land Use and Development Plan 2026-2046. Lors du conseil de la CMM, la mairesse de Montréal a mis l'emphase sur la vitalité économique de la région montréalaise, l'adaptation au changement climatique, la protection des milieux humides et la bonification du transport collectif. Elle a invité tous les élus à prendre compte du PMAD dans nos décisions pour proposer une vision commune et harmoniser nos interventions. Comme elle s'est montrée intéressée à visiter les municipalités de la CMM, je l'ai invitée personnellement à venir à Montréal-Ouest. Elle et moi avons convenu de nous rencontrer à nouveau prochainement. During the last CMM Council meeting, the Mayor of Montreal emphasized the economic vitality of the Montreal region, adaptation to climate change, the protection of wetlands, and the improvement to public transit. She invited all elected officials to consider the Metropolitan Land Use and Development Plan in our decisions in order to propose a shared vision and harmonize our actions. Since she expressed interest in visiting the CMM municipalities, I invited her personally to come to Montreal-Ouest. We agreed to meet soon. Enfin, parmi les améliorations apportées par le Conseil dans son premier mois de fonction, notons 3 éléments. Offre d'emploi en anglais. Le Conseil a demandé de traduire l'ensemble des offres d'emploi afin qu'elles soient disponibles en français et en anglais. Elles sont désormais systématiquement disponibles en anglais. Cela confirme notre engagement envers le bilinguisme. Rapport mensuel des plaintes et requêtes. Le Conseil a demandé à l'ensemble des services de la Ville de produire un rapport mensuel des plaintes et requêtes des citoyens afin d'assurer un meilleur contrôle de suivi des différentes demandes des résidents. Et portfolio des élus. Après de nombreux échanges avec les élus et la directrice générale, je suis maintenant prêt à dévoiler l'attribution des portfolios. Nouveauté, un portfolio sera également attribué au maire. Finally, among the improvements implemented by the Council in its first month in office, 3 points stand out. Job posting in English. The Council requested that all job postings be translated so that they are available in both French and English. They are now systematically available in English. This confirms our commitment to the bilingual status of the town. Secondly, monthly report of complaints and requests. The Council asked all town departments to produce a monthly report of citizens' complaints and requests to ensure better monitoring of the follow-up to residents' various requests. And finally, elected official portfolios. After further discussions with the councillors and the general manager, I am now ready to announce the portfolio assignments. New this year, a portfolio will be assigned to the mayor. I'm almost done. OK, portfolio. L'attribution des portfolios est un exercice attendu de l'amorce du mandat de tout nouveau conseil. Les portfolios répondent aux opérations courantes et aux orientations stratégiques qui guident les décisions et interventions de la Ville de Montréal-Ouest. Les élus ne se substituent pas aux employés, mais s'informe des dossiers, développe des relations avec le milieu et des partenariats, préside des comités, s'informe des meilleures pratiques et des opportunités, font rapport au conseil et contribuent par leurs actions à l'atteinte des objectifs de la ville. Bien que l'on attribue des dossiers spécifiques à des conseillers, l'ensemble des dossiers seront travaillés en collégialité entre tous les membres du conseil. L'expérience, l'expertise et l'intérêt de chacun seront mis à contribution pour tous les dossiers. Portfolios. The allocation of portfolios is an expected exercise at the start of a new council's mandate. These portfolios address day-to-day operation and strategic orientation that guide the decisions and action of the town of Montréal-Ouest. Elected officials do not replace staff, but rather stay informed about files, develop relationship with the community and partnership, chair committees, learn about best practices and opportunities, report to council, and contribute to their action to achieving the town's objective. While specific files are assigned to councillors, all files will be worked on collaboratively by all council members. The experience, expertise, and interests of each member will be leveraged for all files. Pour le maire, gouvernance et développement urbain. Le maire porte les dossiers ayant trait à la gouvernance, aux communications, au partenariat, à la planification stratégique et à l'ensemble des grands projets de développement immobilier et d'aménagement du territoire, y compris la revitalisation de l'avenue Westminster. For the mayor, governance and urban development, the mayor is responsible for files relating to governance, communication, partnership, strategic planning, and all major real estate development and land use planning projects, including the revitalization of Westminster Avenue. Siège 1. Finances et bilinguisme. La conseillère du siège 1 portera les dossiers reliés aux finances, budget, revenus, taxes, subventions, au greffe, requêtes, réclamations, à l'approvisionnement, suivi des contrats de biens et services, et à la promotion et la protection du bilinguisme. Elle assumera également pour le premier terme de 4 mois les fonctions de mairesse suppléante. Elle agira également comme membre substitut du comité consultatif d'urbanisme. Seat 1, Finance and Bilingual Status. The councillor for Seat 1 will be responsible for files related to finance, budget, revenues, tax, subsidies, the clerk's office, requests, claims, procurement, monitoring of goods and service contracts, and the promotion and protection of bilingual status. She will also assume the duties of pro-mayor for the first 4-month term. She will also act as an alternate member of the Planning Advisory Committee. Siège 2, Transition écologique, urbanisme et participation citoyenne. La conseillère du siège 2 portera les dossiers liés à l'environnement, au développement durable et à la résilience climatique, à l'urbanisme, à l'inclusion, aux familles, aux aînés et à l'offre de loisirs, soit la programmation éducative et culturelle, de même que les démarches participatives avec les résidents. Seat 2, Ecological Transition, Urban Planning, and Citizen Participation. The councillor for Seat 2 will handle files related to environment, sustainable development, and climate resilience, urban planning, inclusion, families, seniors, and recreation offering, namely educational and cultural programming, and participatory processes with residents. Siège 3, Gestion des actifs et développement économique. Le conseiller du siège 3 portera les dossiers de la gestion et de l'amélioration des actifs, équipements, infrastructures, installations, des travaux publics et du développement économique, en particulier du volet commercial de l'avenue Westminster. C3, Asset Management and Economic Development. The councillor for C3 will handle files related to asset management and improvement, equipment, infrastructure, facilities, public works, and economic development, especially the commercial aspect of Westminster Avenue. Et finalement, le siège 4, Mobilité durable et sport. Le conseiller du siège 4 portera les dossiers de la mobilité durable, de la sécurité publique, de la conformité du passage à niveau, de même que le développement des sports et le centre récréatif et sportif. Seat 4, Sustainable Mobility and Sports. The councillor for Seat 4 will be responsible for sustainable mobility, public security, level crossing compliance, and sports programming, as well as the Sports and Recreation Center. Ceci conclut le rapport du maire pour le dernier mois. This concludes the mayor's report for the last month. Maintenant, j'invite les conseillers à nous livrer leur rapport. Councillor's report. We'll start by seat number 2, please. Councillor Martha Slogan.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis heureuse de vous informer que, depuis notre élection, nous, les membres de votre nouveau conseil, avons été très actifs. We've taken part in 5 full days of integration, including a couple of Saturdays, along with several additional working sessions, all designed to help us hit the ground running. Ces séances ont poursuivi 3 objectifs principaux. First, they've given us a clear picture of the current state of the town. It's been something of a crash course on how Montréal-Ouest operates day to day. Nous avons rencontré l'ensemble des services municipaux et entendu parler de leur travail, de leurs forces et des défis auxquels ils font face. Understanding where things stand today gives us a solid foundation as we begin planning for the future. Ce travail est essentiel pour prendre des décisions réfléchies et responsables qui servent réellement les citoyennes et citoyens. Second, they've allowed us to get to know our incredibly dedicated town staff. I've been deeply impressed with how much our employees accomplish with very tight budgets and limited resources. Plusieurs d'entre eux travaillent pour la ville depuis de nombreuses années et cette expérience et cette fidélité sont inestimables. Je le dis sans hésitation, notre ville est entre de bonnes mains. Enfin, ce temps passé ensemble a permis aux membres du conseil d'apprendre à mieux se connaître, de se rassembler comme équipe et de commencer à réfléchir collectivement à l'avenir. I know we are all eager to move forward, and we've done the groundwork to be sure we are doing so fully informed with a clear understanding of what we have to work with, the issues that need to be tackled, and the opportunities available to us. Nous sommes déterminés à travailler de façon collaborative et réfléchie afin que Montréal-Ouest conserve son identité et demeure ce lieu de vie exceptionnel que nous chérissons tous. I'm excited to take on the portfolios of ecological transition and urban planning and citizen participation. As I settle into these portfolios, my focus will be on listening and learning, reviewing our bylaws and action plans, and building on community discussions from the campaign. Ce travail est essentiel pour prendre des décisions réfléchies et responsables qui servent réellement les citoyennes et citoyens. Together, these portfolios are about caring for our community, our neighborhood, our shared spaces, and the people who call Montréal-Ouest home, today and in the future. Je m'engage à mener ce travail avec rigueur et dans le meilleur intérêt de l'ensemble des résidentes et résidents. Enfin, je tiens à vous souhaiter à toutes et à tous une période des fêtes heureuse et sécuritaire. I'd like to close by wishing all of you a safe and happy holiday season.
Merci beaucoup, le conseiller Slocum. J'inviterai maintenant le conseiller du siège 3, Nick Tassé, pour nous faire rapport.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tous et tout. Merci d'être ici ce soir. Thank you for coming tonight and braving the cold weather. In just a few short weeks on council, I've had the opportunity to participate in several activities that highlight the strong sense of community in Montréal-Ouest. En seulement quelques semaines au conseil, j'ai eu la chance de participer à plusieurs activités qui témoignent du fort esprit communautaire de Montréal-Ouest. We also spend a great deal of time meeting with department heads to better understand their day-to-day realities and listen to their ideas for the future. One of the highlights of our new mandate was taking part in a field trip around town aboard a small bus driven by Jimmy, our head of public security. Nous étions accompagnés d'Elisabeth, directrice des communications, et Raphaël, directrice générale. While many of us have long been involved or lived in the town, it was refreshing to see Montréal-Ouest from a new, almost tourist-like perspective. The visit included a stop at the Public Works Building, where we met blue-collar employees heading out on a snow clearing operation, followed by a meeting with the director, assistant director, and environment coordinator. Nous avons aussi visité les parcs et les espaces verts. On a traversé le pont vers le nord afin de mieux comprendre les réalités du territoire. Puis nous avons pris la direction du sud vers les secteurs plus industriels, notamment sur Martin et la promenade Ronald. My favorite part of the tour was the Block Tower, formerly home to the Montréal-Ouest Museum, where many records and artifacts remain intact. Nous avons eu un bref aperçu du passé et j'ai hâte au jour où ces éléments pourront de nouveau être partagés avec les nouveaux citoyens et les plus jeunes générations. We followed the Block Tower by visiting the recreation team at the community center, who are eagerly awaiting their move into the their new home at the recreation center. We then did a quick drive-by of the oldest house in town before finally returning to Town Hall to meet the office staff and learn more about their day-to-day. Short and sweet, cette visite courte mais enrichissante nous a rappelé que même en y vivant, nous n'avons pas toujours l'occasion de découvrir les recoins de notre ville et certainement pas en une seule journée. After many thoughtful discussions, Council finalized the assignment of portfolios over this past week, and I was entrusted with the asset management and economic development files. Après plusieurs réflexions et échanges, le Conseil a finalisé l'attribution des dossiers au cours de la dernière semaine et on m'a confié les dossiers de gestion d'actifs et du développement économique. In the coming weeks, I look forward to working with staff to gain a clearer understanding of current priorities, ongoing projects, and operational realities associated with public works and, and all that. Au cours de la nouvelle année, je prévois également aller à la rencontre de mes collègues commerçants afin de recueillir leurs idées pour encourager l'activité économique et promouvoir l'offre locale au cœur de notre ville. On that note, as winter continues, I'd like to remind residents to remain patient and attentive during snow clearing operations and to respect parking restrictions so crews can work safely and efficiently. Alors que l'hiver se poursuit, je remercie les citoyens de leur patience et de leur collaboration durant les opérations de déneigement. Merci beaucoup, thank you, and happy holidays.
So definitely in terms of our partnerships and working with the Adelaide Small there in close proximity to our neighbor, neighbors, we absolutely can broach the subject with them to see. I don't know why that changed. I know there was construction there for quite a while, and maybe they changed the cycle of the lights at that point. I don't know. But I know that there's no longer any construction, but I do know exactly what you're saying because people used to take them along because it was easier to access the highway, and I see now it's been backing up. So absolutely we can take a match to see if the machine can do something to sequence the lights. I don't know why it changed.
So often people do dangerous things like putting U-turns halfway through because you see the backup.
Okay, I
I think
understand.
there's an easy fix. So.
Sure, okay, thank you.
Can you repeat your address, please?
84 Bristol.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
And just a couple of comments. What allowed me the new mayor mentioned, I'll bring this also to me. Appreciate it.
Bonsoir, Christine Grandjean et pour Crestwood. Je vois passer des rats dans le parc Sheraton, dans ma cour. Il y en avait un de mort sur la rue Crestwood. Je les vois le jour, ce qui me concerne beaucoup. De voir des rats le jour, ça veut dire qu'on a une surpopulation en quelque part, surtout qu'on n'a pas de restaurant ou de magasin d'alimentation sur Crestwood. Donc, ça me préoccupe et j'aimerais savoir, est-ce que la Ville a des mesures en place pour contrôler la population de rats sur son territoire? Pardon, sur son territoire.
Oui, donc en réalité, oui, merci beaucoup pour ça. Merci pour vous complémenter. En réalité, il est pratiquement impossible sur les Montréal de contrôler la population de rats. Il y a différentes façons de fonctionner pour limiter, si on veut, la propagation non désirée sur le territoire, qui peut y avoir en effet, c'est certain qu'il y a certains procédés que les villes décident de mettre en place qui sont bien chimiques ou pas. Nous, de notre côté, c'est sûr qu'on tente également de sensibiliser la population à certaines actions que les citoyens peuvent poser qui attirent aussi, qui favorisent une croissance ou en tout cas qui favorisent le milieu de propagation des rats. On a une rubrique sur notre site internet qui explique un peu quoi faire, quoi pas faire. Donc c'est peut-être aussi une opportunité pour moi de rappeler qu'il y a de l'information qui est disponible sur notre site internet pour mieux éduquer peut-être le voisinage. On n'a pas de plan précis. Et là, parce que, en fait, vous savez que les rats, principalement, se promènent via les égouts sanitaires. Donc, on ne peut pas dire que les rats appartiennent davantage à un territoire ou à un autre. Il n'y a pas de limite sur le milieu de vie. Donc, ce que je pourrais simplement vous dire, c'est que nous, on tente au mieux de limiter les impacts néfastes des populations de rats sur l'île, sur notre territoire, en essayant d'agir proactivement sur ce qu'on est capable de contrôler. c'est-à-dire de collecter le compost, d'aider les gens à changer leur bac à ordures lorsqu'ils sont trouvés qu'ils dégagent des ouvrages. C'est d'essayer de développer des partenariats avec les commerçants éventuellement pour peut-être trouver des solutions de compostage pour les restaurateurs, par exemple. Donc, il y a beaucoup de sensibilisation également, mais à l'échelle de chacun d'entre nous, je pense que les citoyens aussi sont prêts peut-être à changer quelques pratiques. Parfois, c'est également d'apporter des modifications à la maison lorsque là, des fois, il y a des niches, il y a des foyers parce qu'on propage la chaleur, puis bien nicher chez vous parce que vous avez des interstices dans votre propriété. Donc, je vais parler trop loin. On a une rubrique sur le site Internet pour aider, mais il serait impossible d'envisager une éradication complète des rats sur notre territoire. On tente de les donner les objets, de les contenus dans les réseaux des groupes.
Oui, je comprends qu'on ne peut pas les éliminer, mais de les voir sur une rue résidentielle où il n'y a pas de restaurant, donc ce qui m'amène aux poubelles. Je sais que la ville a un bylaw sur où placer ses bacs, entreposer ses bacs lorsqu'on ne les sort pas. Là. Puis je pense que le bylaw dit que si on a un garage, les bacs ne doivent pas être à l'extérieur. Ce qui est le cas des maisons sur Crestwood, sur Sheraton, on est toutes des maisons avec des garages, puis il y a beaucoup de personnes qui encore entreposent leurs bacs à l'extérieur de façon permanente. Est-ce qu'il y aurait moyen de enforce the bylaw of, storage of bins?
Mais c'est permetté de les avoir à l'extérieur, mais il faudra que ça soit un point de main. Il y a une distance qu'il faut respecter. Donc, si la distance n'est pas respectée, on a une réglementation qu'on pourrait mettre en œuvre, mais c'est permis de les avoir à l'extérieur.
As I've seen those bins outside of a lot of homes, and all I see is rat tracks all around those bins. Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. Now with the snow, you see it.
There's definitely a distance that has to be respected, but they are allowed outdoors, yes, but they're not supposed to be the front of the property.
Coming back because the bins are there all day long.
They should be empty.
Well, they smell, they're stinking, they're gooey, they're there. And the tracks are there to show that rats are not going to go away, so.
Because normally, like my own processus is, I usually will only put my compost, for instance, out the night before, put it up, but if people are putting compost in during the day, during the week, and it's next to their house, I get it that there's food that's attracting rats,
Yeah, so can we do something about that?
We have to look at the réglementation to see if there's something that we can do.
Okay,
For sure.
thank you.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci pour votre question.
Bonsoir, Louis de Montréal-Ouest, à Montréal-Ouest. Une question concernant le respect des règlements municipaux. J'aimerais connaître les recours des résidents lorsqu'un règlement municipal n'est pas respecté et cause préjudice à la jouissance attendue de la propriété à Montréal-Ouest. Le service de la sécurité publique a été avisé en juin 2024 qu'un commerçant de la rue Westminster contrevenait au règlement de nuisance 456, l'article 24.2. À la suite de nombreux courriels, appels téléphoniques et messages vocaux au service de la sécurité publique, une infraction a présumément été émise au propriétaire de l'immeuble ainsi qu'au propriétaire du commerce en juin 2025. Nous entendons toujours le bruit de l'équipement en date d'aujourd'hui, de mon salon, du trottoir de la rue Valentin. Depuis le mois d'octobre, un message par boîte vocale du responsable du service de la sécurité publique demeure toujours sans retour d'appel. J'aimerais savoir ce qu'on peut faire pour régler cette situation inacceptable.
Merci pour la question, M. Bergmeyer. Je viens d'apprendre le dossier en ce moment, aujourd'hui. Qu'est-ce que j'ai appris en 2024? Il y a eu des tests, des inspections, des avis aux propriétaires. Je pense qu'il y a eu un changement qui a été fait.
Excuse-moi, ce que je peux te voir, c'était le bon commerce en 2024. C'est un bon commerce qui est adressé en juin 2025.
OK, donc c'est un autre commerce.
Ben, c'est le même bruit depuis 2024, mais ils n'ont pas adressé le bon problème en 2024. Okay. C'est le même bruit continu. Il n'a jamais arrêté depuis. Il n'a jamais arrêté depuis juin 2024.
Okay. Donc, on va faire d'autres inspections.
Le responsable, le nommé Dimitri, m'a confirmé qu'il y avait eu une infraction aux commerçants et aux propriétaires de l'immeuble en juin 2025, qui avait trouvé le problème finalement. Donc, vous avez posté dans le dossier.
Je viens juste d'apprendre le dossier aujourd'hui. Donc,
selon le règlement, il y a une constatation d'infraction, une amende qui est supposée être émise selon le règlement. Si je n'avais pas connaissance, il n'y a aucune amende qui a été émise en date de
Je ne pourrais pas vous dire s'il y a une amende qui a été émise ou pas. Je peux vous revenir sur ça, mais ça va être quelque chose que je vais parler avec mon collègue à la ville. Mais le problème, c'est vraiment que le problème est toujours là avec le bruit. Donc,
C'était été constaté en juin 2025 qui dépassait la limite permise par le règlement de la région.
Je vais laisser Mme la DG qui va répondre plus à votre question, jusqu'à plus dans votre dossier.
Merci Philippe. En fait, juste un petit complément d'information par rapport à ce que Philippe vient de mentionner. Il y a eu des visites d'inspection. Puis en fait, c'est pas automatique. Je veux juste quand même réitérer cette information-là, peut-être vous informer si vous ne la possédiez pas déjà. Ce n'est pas automatique que la ville mette un constat d'infraction à la surveillance d'une infraction. Il y a différentes approches. On n'est pas toujours dans la coercition, on essaie d'accompagner aussi les citoyens à se conformer. Dans le présent cas, il y a eu des inspections et à l'aide de nos instruments, donc un sonomètre, on était venu déterminer qu'il y avait effectivement un bruit, la plainte était fondée et le propriétaire, moi j'ai l'information qu'il s'est conformé. Il aurait fait un correctif. Et avec cette information-là, les inspections subséquentes auraient effectivement démontré que le bruit, durant les inspections, avait été arrêté. Donc, il s'agit de savoir si c'est peut-être une intermittence au niveau du bruit ou pas.
Je m'excuse de vous interrompre, mais j'ai parlé au responsable de sécurité publique en octobre 2025.
OK, je comprends.
Il n'avait pas fait de suivi suite à la d'infraction en juin 2025. Donc, c'est passé de juin 2025 à octobre, c'est 4 mois, aucun suivi, à savoir s'il avait respecté, s'il s'était conformé à ce qu'il avait dit qu'il allait faire, rectifier le problème.
Donc, la seule chose que je pourrais dire, c'est de vous remercier.
Les constats d'infraction peuvent être émis si. Je veux juste finir. C'est écrit noir sur blanc dans le règlement qu'un constat d'infraction qui doit être émis pour ce règlement spécifique-là, le règlement 4.1, il est marqué noir sur blanc. Fait que nous dire que c'est pas vrai qu'il n'y a pas de constat d'infraction qui a été émis.
Comme je vais le répéter une dernière fois, en fait, on tente d'abord de trouver des résolutions avec les citoyens, on tente de les accompagner à se conformer. Donc, on n'est pas toujours dans la coercition automatiquement, à moins que ça dépasse un seul terme. Là, je vous dirais, je vous remercie d'avoir porté ça à notre attention. Je vais faire des validations en interne avec notre équipe, avec les nouvelles informations que vous nous apportez aujourd'hui.
Les informations que j'apporte aujourd'hui, c'est le responsable de la sécurité publique en octobre 2025. Le responsable de la sécurité publique est au courant le jour. L'équipement, c'est une femme d'un restaurant, il ne fait pas tous les jours. C'est le soir, le samedi soir, le vendredi soir, le jeudi soir. Il est au courant depuis l'été 2024. C'est le jour, tu vois le jour, il n'y a pas de bruit. Tu vois le soir, il y a du bruit. C'est aussi simple que ça. Ce que vous me dites, c'est est-ce qu'il est allé le soir dans votre bruit? Est-ce que vous avez. Ça fait 2 ans que j'envoie ce bruit-là dans mon salon.
Oui, merci. On comprend qu'on a vraiment résolu la situation. On va réinvestiguer la question. Merci de la précision aussi que le bruit.
La question, c'est quoi le repos? C'est quoi le repos? J'en vais vous en avoir, c'est quoi le repos? Ça fait 2 ans que j'ai le service de sécurité publique. Ma question, c'est quoi le repos?
En fait, la réponse plate que vous ne voulez pas nécessairement entendre ce soir, je m'en excuse de vous le dire, mais la ville demeure responsable d'appliquer sa réglementation en effet, puis elle choisit comment elle adresse l'application de cette réglementation-là. Donc, là, pour le moment, comme je vous l'ai dit, ce qu'on préconise, c'est une approche d'accompagnement pour la conformité. Évidemment que si on constate que ce n'est pas respecté, on va dans la coercition, puis on fait une avis d'infraction. Donc, c'est la réponse que j'ai pour vous aujourd'hui. Si vous n'en portez pas satisfait, vous pouvez opter pour vous tourner vers un avocat puis prendre une procédure. Mais je ne peux pas vous donner des conseils juridiques en l'espèce.
Je comprends, mais là, ça fait juste 2 ans que ça dure. Merci.
Merci.
C'est des choses que je me suis fait dire à l'été 2024. Bon, merci.
Merci beaucoup. Évidemment, on vient d'arriver en poste, on prend connaissance des dossiers, on va se faire un suivi de votre demande. Merci.
My name is Luigi Torchia. I live at 46 Walnut Drive. I own the house. My issue, my complaint is about the building across the street, 49. Last summer I had to redo my driveway, just the asphalt. And I had to jump through hoops and walk on water to get approved. Now, this guy, whoever bought the building at 49 Ronald Drive, does not take care of the building. The garbage bins have been overflowed and been left on the street. It's the second week, it's still there. This summer coming, if it's like that, we're gonna have full of rodents. It looks awful. Also, the lawn is never mowed. There's debris, garbage, all kinds of stuff on the lawn. The gardeners are not there anymore because he got rid of the gardeners. Some people that live there have said to me that the hallway is disgusting. Now, nobody's cleaning. A couple of the apartments have plywood over the windows. It looks awful. It's a fire trap also. And different times of the night, I see lights on. So I'm thinking there's somebody that lives there, you know? Or also lights wouldn't be on. Trash all over the place. They don't look after the building. Either this past summer or right now in the winter. Like I said, the garbage bins are overflowed. Second week there, you know? And the garage, they want to make it into another apartment. They can't look after the apartments that are there now. Imagine another apartment there in the garage. The building is out of place. And like I said, last summer, because I wanted to redo my driveway, just new asphalt, I had to walk on water and jump through hoops. This guy is doing all kinds of work, no working permit, fly-by-night contractors, and when they were there last summer, or this past summer, doing the work, there was debris, dust, pieces of drywall, pieces of lumber left there. It looks awful. It looks awful. I do my part and all my neighbors do all their part to try and make their homes look presentable and nice, and this guy is getting away with terrible things. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. He doesn't care. I care about how my street looks. My neighbors care about how their houses look. This guy doesn't give a hoot. It's not fair. No inspectors went there to see if these contractors had the right permits. Nobody went there to see if it was approved. I didn't see no work permits issued by the town on the window like I had to do when I did work at my house. This guy's getting away with murder practically, you know? And it looks awful. It really does. I'm not exaggerating. It really does look awful. And now there's two bins there, overflowing with garbage. It's on the street. You know, it looks awful, you know? Yeah. And like I said, a couple of the apartments are boarded up with plywood or aspenite, but there's somebody there because I see the light on sometimes there. So somebody's putting the light on, somebody must be living there. And it's a fire hazard. Imagine if there's a fire there, somebody's gonna get killed or seriously hurt. And nobody seems to care. No inspectors went there from the town or anything. What I had to do in my driveway, I had to walk on water. Why is this guy getting away with keeping the building terribly managed?
So, thank you very much for your comment, question.
Really, this is a serious thing, because my neighbors and myself, we do our part to try to keep our place looking nice. And this guy, you know, doesn't care.
Yes. So, thank you for reporting this. We'll investigate for sure. When you see things like this, you can also send videos and pictures and facts to the town so we can make a follow-up.
The town is supposed to have an inspector that goes around and checks, hey, what's going on here? Do you have your permit? Is it by code? Nothing is done by code, I'm sure. And the living room he's making into 2 rooms.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, thank you. So, yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Julian Feldman. I live at 36 Campbell. First, I want to congratulate you, each and every one of you, for your election. I think that there's a lot of optimism throughout Montreal-West that we'll see some movement on a lot of issues, and I wish you luck in your leadership of our great staff as well. I want to let you know that I'm an elected commissioner, trustee of the English Montreal School Board. I represent Westmount, all of downtown, all of Sud-West, and Villamar, Point St. Charles, etc. But I'm a Low-Wester, and what I would like to see is a much closer relationship with the English Montreal School Board. at all levels of the town. Certainly like the mayor and councillors to be on a first-name basis with all the elected officials here in Montreal-West, but also mayor and the chairman. But as a commissioner, I have to ask, and I'm coming to my question, the crosswalk here at Westminster has been a great concern for many years. My daughter went to rural West. We lived next door. She did not have herself to cross Westminster every day, but we know that hundreds and hundreds of kids do cross Westminster every day. The issue was brought to our attention when my daughter was 11 or 12. She's 25 now. The situation has not changed. After the pandemic, the traffic patterns changed. There were more cars. There was, construction during that time as well. But the point is that personally, I drive through that intersection, come down Ainsley 2 or 3 times a day, and I've been doing so for more than a decade. And nobody stops, or let me not exaggerate, but many people, too many drivers do not respect the flashing stop signs. It's very clear that there needs to be pedestrian-operated flashing, overhead flashing crosswalk that drivers do respect. And, look, the parents at the school, many of them who do not live in Montreal-West, the perception is that the town does not care about them because their parents are not voters in Montreal-West. So they get hit by cars, many things can happen, nothing is done. Now we know that many studies apparently have been made, no action for 10 or 15 years. It's unacceptable. I think that we need to take the responsibility of the children who go to that school. While they're on our territory, they are a responsibility. I think we need to take that more seriously and do something about their crosswalk.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Feldman. Obviously, as a councillor who is continuity from the previous council and responsible for the public security portfolio, I can absolutely say without a doubt that we have made improvements in that area, including the flashing stop signs, adding additional crosswalks. We cannot, and if you're talking about Ainsley, Westminster, because you said Westminster, because of the truck corridor, there's still conversations going on about having that overhead light because being part of that truck corridor, so that's number one. Number two, there's a petition going around now that it's the provincial level to try to see if there's a crossing guard that could be allocated to that particular intersection. EXO has invested a significant amount of money, over $1 million, to try to bring some of the foot traffic off of Westminster by using the underground tunnel that goes from Broughton/Harvey that brings you back to Sherbrooke that a lot of the students can take there. So we absolutely have done. We have worked with our SPVM partners to make sure that they're more present in our part of the town. They're responsible for Montreal-West, Côte-de-Loup, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, Hampstead, and I can assure you that they're giving us a lot more than they normally would, and they have given out way more tickets than they've given out in the past. We can tell you that because of what we're receiving here with regards to the ticket and the fines that they're giving out. So when it comes to vehicular and vehicular and criminal codes, the police have to enforce those. We definitely have had much more service from the SPVM now with the new commandant that has been there. We continue to work with our partners. I have met with Mr. Pina on several occasions, as well as the other principals that are in the town. We have 3 schools, as you know, 2 elementary and 1 high school in the territory. And I'm sure with the new portfolios that have now been distributed across the council, that they will continue to do that practice as well and meet with the principals, have quarterly or 6 months or year meetings to see what some of those concerns are. But we absolutely have invested, and I can tell you, it's not just the residents of the town, people in the town. People who transit through this town, as long as they're on our territory, they matter to the town. It is a paramount and a priority for this town, and to say that we don't care because they're not taxpayers is absolutely false, Mr. Feldman. I'm sorry, but we have absolutely tried to do an upper game. We have everybody. We had meetings with the MSB, we had meetings with the SPVM, we had meetings with all our partners, EXO, CPKC, to see how we can increase safety. We continue to do that. So now it's gone up to the provincial level with our M&A to see if they can change the legislation so that we can get a crossing guard at that corner.
If I could follow up. Mr. Mayor. Everyone appreciates the efforts that we've seen going on, but over the last 10, 15 years, I have to say that those of us who live right here and have witnessed personally the evolution of the dossier have not actually recognized any change in the situation. You still have hundreds of kids running the gauntlet across Westminster. But you get to the tunnel to cross, the tunnel that was built that cost millions of dollars, they still have to cross Westminster to get there. They don't cross, they don't feel safe crossing. Yeah, they go to the tracks where we know it's dangerous as well. So I said that it's the perception of the parents. I'm not necessarily saying it's true, I know you care, Councillor Pennefather, but the perception of the parents at Rural West is that nothing is being done. And let me just add something with respect to the petition, very quickly. It doesn't make, I'm aware of the petition, of course, but it doesn't make a lot of sense that we need to change Quebec-wide policy in order to solve the dangerous situation of Westminster. I think that the council needs to get serious about taking action at the crossing and not depend on changing Quebec-wide policy to fix something that's within our jurisdiction. Thank you.
But just to clarify, the crossing guards, you know, are not within the jurisdiction of the town, and it's responsibility of the SPM.
I don't think the crossing guards are a realistic solution to the problem, but the power to resolve the situation is in your hands.
Which we have. So the study that we've invested in at the rail crossing are going to have secondary effects that will help with to manage the traffic along Westminster in that particular area as well.
Councillor, the parent said that the study did not include the crossing.
Thank you, Mr. Fiddle. Hi, it's Mike Heaney, 62 Roll. I just wanted to thank council and everybody involved with, as you mentioned, a very successful, especially the recreation, Chris, Carney, his team, Breakfast with Santa. I've been, I think, every year since we've lived in the town of Cook. It was fantastic. Thank you all for the work you put in. One thing I just want to say before my questions is, I think something leading up to the election is there tends to be a little bit of lack of clarity, and nobody's fault, on what the council can and cannot do. I think as residents, we have concerns, we have compliments, we have all these emotions, often related to taxes, PAC, this, that, and they get directed at council. And then my understanding is council is like sort of a liaison between the resident and, I believe, whether it's blue collar, white collar, the DG, that's sort of that connection. So forgive us if sometimes I think it seems personal. It's not meant to be personal, but a lot of us, and I think the gentleman before has expressed it, one question that he really said is, what happens when nobody answers my email? What happens when I call and nobody picks up the phone? For 2 years after COVID, Public Works, I don't think anybody picked up the phone. So you have these situations where people see a clear problem. I think the gentleman about 49 Ronald exercised a clear problem. We were said, send pictures, done that. Call public security, did that. Talk to Vlad. Vlad said they were shut down. No, they weren't. They never stopped working. Was there a fine committed? We don't know. Because there's that disconnect when there's a clear and obvious situation and there's a problem where it's not applied consistently. You could get a fine if you put the wrong color windows. People on Ronald had to rip their black windows out to put white windows. Shouldn't have applied for a permit because 49 Ronald can do whatever they want, and now they're submitting to PAC to put in another apartment. So I think the first question is, what can citizens do when they feel like they've done everything right? I'm trying to navigate the website of Mr. Gilbert, always says it's all there on the website, clear as day, and I try to do that. And I get like, well, that's the bylaws from 3 years ago. The zoning changed, that's not what that says. What do we do? Is there an ombudsman? Is there somebody? I can't hire a lawyer. What does a citizen do when they feel they're not getting the answer they need? Well, that's a good question. I mean, again, we're just new here, just our first month, and everyone wants to get all the problems resolved in a couple of weeks. That won't happen. But we clearly understand your frustration and your different demands. The report of complaints and requests that we're asking to the town now, I mean, this is a tool that will make a difference. Not tomorrow, it will take a couple of months. This will be a better way to follow up on all the complaints and requests by the citizens. We'll know which service has received the request, whose department is responsible, even the employee, what's the status of the demand, and we'll follow them. And there will be some kind of color code to make sure that, yeah, this will be handled, you know, by the staff, or at some point, there's a problem, there's an issue for X matter. And this is where we arrive in the discussion to try to sort it out. The reality also is that we have not that a big amount of employees in the town. We have a very, very limited resource, and we're taking, we're learning all the files, and we're learning where there are some problems in the structure of the town. So in our strategic planning within the next few months, we'll try to address the different departments and see where are some resources needed to have. We were talking about the inspection earlier. There's only one person who's managing all the permits, the PAC inspection. It's just not enough. It's impossible for one person to do everything. So that person does the best that she can, but she cannot be on the ground every day, to look at all of these things. So we are really investigating the different issues and problems to address subjects like this. So situation like Mr. earlier does not happen again, but it will take us a few months, I would say, to organize that system. Thanks. So the second question is, I guess, related to that I feel that even though the new council has only been in place so long, we've submitted the pictures. What is the status? Because the last meeting, my understanding was the owner of 49, after the work was done, submitted PAC requests for the work that was already done and a new apartment in the garage. Can we, as residents, find out? Because this is turning into a slum where that's what's happening. He's not joking. The garbage is, they've never picked up the garbage. Not once, I don't think.
So when you say it went to PAC when?
So the last council meeting, when they read out, so-and-so, my understanding was, because they never got a permit, they did all the work, turned 2 bedrooms into 3 bedrooms, put a wall in the window. Now it's boarded up. But then I heard, it's PAC, this, that address, and all of a sudden now it's another, he's not wrong. I believe they're requesting an apartment in a garage. So you're taking away apartment buildings parking, which is already too much parking on the street because they added an extra apartment.
Yeah, so Councillor Slocum is sitting on the file, and I've been the second councillor. I do not recall that file going on through the last.
Mr. John, I just tell you that owner received a fine. That's wonderful. But let's be real here.
Nothing has been done.
Yeah, and my understanding is they don't have to pay the fines in Montreal-West until you sell the building. So, I think that's actually, maybe Mr. Gilbert, if you could tell us, if you get fined, I can do whatever I want, you'll fine me. Unless you put a lien on the property, maybe the DG can answer. Okay, well, again, I just encourage the DG, Councilor Slocum, drive by. Just drive by. I have pictures on my phone I took on the way here. I know it's a lot. Drive by. It's a slum. Thank you.
We will definitely drive by the way on there.
This will be our last question. Very, very quick question because we're over our time.
Cynthia Nichols, 25 Westminster South. I'm sorry that you're being bombarded by all of, you've just received your portfolios. And I feel really badly about some of the comments and everything coming from the residents, but it shows you what we've gone through for the past almost 2 decades with the last administration. I personally have submitted architectural designs. I've done all of these various different things, and yet, as you know, I now have filed with you and with the court system. So I'm trying to say to you that yes, this has been going on. It's been going on for certain people, but not for others. And that's what you need to understand. And to the point where, I mean, the garbage, I left the compost there because literally it's right in front of the office. And I mean, it's a bag of leaves, and it was there, put out before the snow. It's still there. Am I supposed to go out and pick up? And I made sure that I didn't fill up the entire 5 bags that come in the package, because I wasn't sure they were going to pick it up. So I put it halfway, and I left it there, and it's still there. So, yeah, there's a few issues, but, okay, so, I did submit a letter to the last council, and I was just wondering if we're any further ahead. Claude,
I have to get back to you.
there we go, and I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go to the online questions now. There's lots of them. Yeah, who's taking the first one?
That's me.
Yeah, Philip, please.
First question from Harold Knowles, 256 Avenue, Percival. Will the town be getting any bids for the proposed changes to the Sherbrooke-Westminster intersection and train crossing? Well, we've already been to tender twice. We've received no bids. We're planning on going back to a tender in early January, and we're hoping to have answers by early February. So that's the future of this question. Thank you very much.
Second question.
Sorry. Okay, so we have a few questions relating to snow this evening. I have one from Andrea this evening, 26 Brock. Could the public works please prioritize Ronald Drive in snow clearing? It seems like the south sector, including Ronald Drive, is always left to the end of any snow clearing campaign. I'm sorry to cut this short. I have to summarize and we're short on time. I'm going to add the other snow questions to this. I also have, excuse me. Jennifer Meldick and Stan Carney also asking about the snow. Just to summarize, I mean, I'm still getting used to all this. There's a lot of factors affecting snow clearing at the moment. Everyone's a little frustrated. We had some equipment breakdown, and that happens with our aging fleets. There's also the storm. There was a lot of snow drifts from the wind that made it appear like the snow may not have been clean, even though it was, and it was blown over after. We also have private contractors that push snow into the street from residents' driveways. That increases the snow volume being picked up by the town. In some cases, they may pass after the city's equipment is passed, or it would look like maybe the city equipment did pass, but unfortunately, they already come by. I encourage anyone who thinks there's a security issue or maybe an area that might require some immediate attention to reach out and call Public Works or Public Security. This all falls under the umbrella of the town operations, and it's really important to note that the town already has a snow clearing strategy, and it's a well-determined route to clear the snow in the most efficient way possible.
Thank you. Next one is for you too.
All right, so we have Donna McLaughlin. Sorry guys, I'm just looking at all this stuff. All right, there's no street lights on Valentine South or Avon. It's very dim and some are burnt out. Most streets that have been upgraded to brighter lighting with new lamp posts. It's very dark at night, difficult to walk dogs, and feels dangerous. As you don't see who's coming along the sidewalk, can we please upgrade this area as has been done elsewhere? Thank you. Donna, I will communicate your issue with Public Works to look at the light bulbs that are burnt out and check on the others in the area. To check if any of the other bulbs need replacing or necessary. In the past, all of the lights have been replaced when the road infrastructure is redone as a whole. When that situation arises in your area and the lighting will be brought up to date and improved along with the rest of the infrastructure. And in any case, whenever there's a safety issue, such as a burnt out street light, please communicate it immediately with the appropriate department so that it can be followed up with as soon as possible. I have another one here from Mr. Asher Waldman. Have the council discussed when would Broad North be repaid from Curzon to Fielding? This is all, pretty new to us. We've heard a lot about that stretch of road, and we'll be revising our priorities for infrastructure repair in the new year. By learning the state of our sidewalks, roads, sewers, and water pipes, we'll be able to come up with an action plan that focuses on the most pressing needs for repair or replacement over the course of our mandate. I have another question from Daniel Kremer on 162 Northview. For the last 6 months, there seems to be an odor emanating from the sewer system in Montreal-Ouest, for example, around Stratton Park, as well as other streets in the neighborhood. Have other fellow residents noticed the same? Thank you. I haven't noticed anything. I haven't heard of this. I'm taking note of it. I'm going to bring it up to the appropriate department and see if someone can look into it. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Philippe, la question de Richard aussi.
Oui, une question de Richard Lucier au 473 avenue Hudson. Il demande d'amendement au règlement municipal. Y aurait-il possibilité de pénaliser une section pour les détenteurs de permis de stationnement sur la rue Hudson? Il y a un problème majeur à cause de l'école Edinburgh. 2 portions des rues avoisinantes sont interdites. Nous devons synchroniser nos déplacements à cause de l'horaire de l'école. La raison de cette intervention est que nous sommes restreints par le fait que la rue est très étroite. 2, il y a une école qui couvre environ le quart de la rue. Il semble y avoir que 2 titulaires de permis dans mon secteur. Donc, la réponse à votre question, c'est on va revoir l'analyse globale du stationnement sur le territoire de Montréal-Ouest très bientôt, durant le mandat. On va utiliser le rapport et recommander des changements et des conclusions suivant le mandat de l'Agence de mobilité durable de Montréal.
Merci Philippe. La question de Christine Loulard. Martin.
So, we have a question from Christine Loulard at 129 Percival Avenue. Hello. During the municipal campaign, many residents expressed frustration at being denied building permits based on recommendations from the PAC, a process which often felt opaque. Many ideas were expressed to increase transparency on PAC, including a clear set of guidelines, especially around allowed colors and materials. Has the new administration discussed this topic, and when can residents expect an update so they can resubmit/challenge applications that were previously denied, specifically window colors? Thank you. So the PAC is a priority file for the council, but we're right at the beginning of our strategic planning, so we don't have a strict timeline, but we'll definitely be working on this in 2026. We want to streamline the process and help citizens navigate through the various processes. It must be noted that PAC is a legally mandated committee, which means we cannot make ad hoc changes. We want to do it carefully and thoughtfully to make sure we do it right. A full analysis is going to take time, but in the meantime, please make sure to apply for the permits if you have work to do. You can always submit an application at any time, and the department can provide guidance.
Thank you. This question is for Phil and Ryan.
Yeah, I'm just going to answer because I answered the gentleman that was in the room and I don't see where he so it's the same question that was asked in the room regarding the construction fencing at the corner of Miller and Westminster, and we will address this. So thank you for your question from me. I'm around at 139 Percival. Thank you.
Question from Eleanor. Martin.
So We got a number of questions about salt on the road. So the first one is from Ellen Moore at 122 Percival Avenue. When will we be able to use a substitute for salt on our roads and sidewalks? Salt kills plants, animals, and fish. Other municipalities such as Westmount have found substitutes. Sylvia Javret at 222 Westminster Avenue North says, congratulations to all councillors and mayor. For next year, does the council have plans to go for more ecological snow protection, i.e. using less salt, more sand and gravel? Thank you. Also, community gardens would be greatly appreciated. And then Jim Morali at 112 Broughton Road asks, why does the city not use a mix of salt and gravel on the sidewalks? Frequently before or after salting, and depending on the amount of snowfall, there are slippery patches that gravel would alleviate. So we already do use a mix of chemical and non-chemical abrasives. So we do use gravel and salt. We determine what to use based on the temperature and other weather conditions. This is something that the town has studied in depth, and it was determined that a combination of chemical and non-chemical abrasive was most effective for Montreal-Ouest. So we are always evaluating what we're using based on the temperature and weather conditions, but the council is going to continue to learn more about the situation, and if in the future we can make some changes, then we're open to looking into it. For sure. And also the question about community gardens, we'll look into that as well, see if it's feasible.
Thank you, Martha. Question de Mme Boucha, tout le monde.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Question is from Nova Buducha, 457 Wellesley. My question last month pertained to a forensic audit and was either misunderstood or intentionally brushed aside with an answer typical of the last administration. The town finances are, to say the least, precarious, almost begging, year after year for grants and subsidies. Hence, I reiterate my request for a professional and complete forensic financial audit of the town's finances, preferably covering the last 16 years. Please don't insult me with the likes of your last reply. The town goes through an annual audit. It's not the same. Mr. Buducha, you've asked this question several times over the last few years. I'm going to answer it one more time for you. So, over the last few years, with this particular question, it is an absolute smart use of funds to stretch our dollars. For every dollar that we spent when we applied for a grant, we get $1.50. So it absolutely is a good practice to apply for grants. If we did not meet the requirements, the town would be under the investigation by the province if there was a misappropriation of funds. Further, the fact that we receive so many grants tells us that we have a very healthy way that we do our auditing. We have a town treasurer who has a professional designation as a CPA. We have a third party that conducts our annual audits. So again, Mr. Buducha, I know you've been asking this question for several years, but there's nothing here to investigate. And as I said, an investigation would have been triggered years ago if there was a misappropriation of funds, but the fact, again, that we continue to get grants, which is an excellent thing to do for the town to stretch our tax dollars, we would have already been flagged of having an issue. We would not receive funds from the government if we were having issues financially. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Lauren. Question from Joanna Dewey, 232 Roosevelt Avenue. In fall 24, a Sec 3 student from Montréal-Ouest was hit by a car at the intersection of AC and Westminster. Parents subsequently discovered that the school is not eligible for a crossing guard because of the SAAQ deems all children 12 and over as being adults for administering crossing purpose. Royalist parent Jessica Virtue worked with the Zero office to draft a province-wide petition that calls on the government to review this policy. We encourage Montrealers to search for the petition on the National Assembly petition site and consider signing the petition. Many thanks. Thank you, Mrs. Dewey, for your efforts. We fully support this petition. We have signed it and publicly endorsed it in the media. We encourage all residents to sign it. Okay. Next question from Carl Broadhead.
Non, c'est toi.
I'll take it. Are there any plans to add curb extension to the corners of Nelson and Westminster with the new area opening this winter? Adding a curb extension as we have on the corners of Curzon and Westminster, Parkside Westminster would seem like a great idea given the numbers of kids crossing at Nelson Westminster to get to the pool, tennis courts, arena, etc. Well, this is not a short-term plan. When we begin the Westminster Avenue revitalization project, we will retake all the intersection from Avon up to over the arm. So thank you for your time. Question from Michael.
Ali déjà fait. It's me.
Michael Penny from 62 Promenade Ronald. When can we get a more detailed explanation of the white collar agreement mentioned over the summer online, particularly the pilot project about the 4.5 days a week? How was this agreed upon and how will this be managed? More importantly, how and where can we access to the detailed expenditures on salaries and personal expenses of the town? Obviously, this was an agreement that was negotiated in good faith between the parties that was concluded. Of course, you can go through the access to information and privacy request, which is important, and you can apply for that through the town clerk. There is a 20-day delay with the possibility of a 10-day delay that will get you the information that you need, but of course there needs to be a triage of the information to make sure there isn't any personal information. If you read my article in the Informer this last month, I did talk about how the application of the law applies to the town, which is a provincial law. So that's for question number 1. And question number 2, why does the town not post important changes to zoning and other important changes in Montreal-Ouest Informer, which all citizens have access to instead of suburban, which very few citizens actually get to see? Just in response to this question, the Informer, unfortunately, is a fantastic publication, but it's not a newspaper. And the law requires that the information is printed in a newspaper, and it's important to know that you can also access this information online. So all you need to go to the suburban and get the information that you need. In addition to that, when we do have important changes that are coming, we do publish those on our bulletins as well to inform citizens. But when there's a notice that has to be published, it does need to go into an official newspaper, which the Informer is not. Thank you for your 2 questions, Mr. Eddy.
Okay, so there's just a few more. Antonia Puccini.
Yes, Antonetta Pulcini from 78 Promenade Ronald asks, hi, we would like to know what is happening with the proposed U-Haul project. We are concerned about the noise level increase on Ronald and above, as well as our views being obstructed. We often get to enjoy a beautiful sunrise in the mornings, as well as a view over the train tracks and highway into Ville-LaSalle. These views will be completely blocked with a 6-story building. We have to put up with a lot on Ronald Drive, and we invite the mayor to come visit to see exactly what we are talking about. Thank you. So the U-Haul building is in an industrial zone, and I believe the proposal meets regulations. It's under analysis since last year at the PAC, which is making recommendations to improve the building with regard to noise and sightlines within the confines of the regulations. There was a meeting held for the demolition committee, and citizens expressed their opinions, and a permit was issued to demolish.
Thank you. Question from Alan Lynch. A portfolio has been assigned. The answer is yes. Eric Ross.
Okay, Eric Ross from 233 Percival Avenue. Anyone who has had any dealings with the PAC will attest that this committee is killing Montreal-West's friendly reputation and spirit. I'd like to know if there's a clear mission for the PAC, if they know this mission, where the powers were given, and finally, if there is any talk of reducing these powers and increasing visibility and accountability. So yes, there is a clear mission, and the PAC is aware of its mission. We're going to work to improve the process and simplify it and help citizens navigate the system. All PACs across Quebec have the same mandate and are guided by criteria. They make only recommendations, and they apply the SPAIP. And council ultimately decides whether or not to accept the recommendations.
Thank you. Next question from Joan Billy.
Joan Billy, 36 Campbell Avenue. Now that the town has banned gas-powered leaf blowers, would it consider banning gas-powered lawnmowers? They're even more destructive to the environment. Most people in the town don't have huge lawns and don't need such huge gas guzzlers. So we're still at the very start of our strategic planning, and we are going to take up discussions on environmental issues as part of that strategic planning, and we'll be considering such issues.
Thank you. Next question from Marissa Cesare.
Marissa Cesare, 416 Hudson Avenue. Good evening to all. Once portfolios are assigned with will all information from prior counselors be transferred? Emails, photos, etc. Unsure if it already exists. Any thought on having resident group forum to discuss common issues recommendations? Seems the only way to find out that others are having similar issues is by reading on social media. Mrs. Marissa Cesare, we're currently in transition. The current administration is getting us up to speed, so we're finding out all the issues. The best way for putting any complaints or concerns is to go through the website, log it so that we can actually see it, and then if things are not getting done, you can come back to us, and we'll be the middleman between the city and the population. Also, we'll be working in the near future, starting in January, we're going to have some town hall events or coffee with the councilors once periodically every 2 months, so that issues, recommendations, and concerns can be applied to us, so that we have the direct contact with our population.
Okay, thank you so much. That's the end of the question period. We follow the agenda. Point 9, contracts and the town clerk's office. A, amendment to a memorandum of understanding with the Civic Recreation Association, CRA.
Whereas the town agreed to the terms of a memorandum of understanding with the CRA in accordance with Resolution 202-50929-007 to govern the CRA's use of the recreational and sports facilities managed by the town. Whereas both parties have reached a further agreement on financial terms concerning a rebate on ice rental rates. Whereas this will result in the addition of paragraph in Article 6 of the MOU. It was I move that the town accept to give the CRA a rebate on ice rental rates as follows. High season prime time, a discount of 51.5%. Low season prime time, a discount of 34.6%. That an amendment to the MOU adding a paragraph to this effect be drafted. That the mayor be authorized to sign this agreement on behalf of the town.
I second this.
Does that have all in favor? Yes. Opposition to Quebec Bill 2 in support of Quebec physician and medical professionals.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the National Assembly of Quebec passed Bill 2, an act mainly to establish collective responsibility with respect to improvement of access to medical services and to ensure continuity of provision of the services, SQ 2025, Chapter 25 on October 25th, 2025. Whereas Bill 2 was adopted under a closer procedure, thereby limiting parliamentary debate and meaningful consultation with physicians or representative organizations and independent medical federations. Whereas significant concerns have been raised by Quebec physicians and medical organizations that Bill 2 imposes unrealistic performance targets, threatens the quality and continuity of patient care, and introduces punitive measures affecting physicians or professional associations and academic medical institutions. Whereas petition number 11807, calling for the immediate repeal of Bill 2, has officially garnered 66,121 signatures before the National Assembly of Quebec, demonstrating substantial public and professional opposition. Whereas public demonstrations have occurred, including a rally on November 9, 2025, attended by more than 12,000 doctors, medical students, and supporters at Montreal's Bell Centre, demanding suspension of Bill 2. Whereas certain amendments have been introduced, including the postponement of these implementation of changes to physicians' remuneration models until February 28, 26, but these amendments do not address the fundamental concerns raised by the medical community. Whereas numerous medical clinics across Quebec have announced closures or service reductions following the adoption of Bill 2. Whereas there are currently no medical clinics located within the territory of the town of Montreal-West, many physicians reside in the town and contribute significantly to the health and well-being of the broader Quebec population. Whereas the short and long-term effects of the adoption of Bill 2 will have far-reaching consequences to the overall healthcare of Montreal-West residents. I move that 1, the town of Montreal-West formally oppose Quebec Bill 2 and call for its complete repeal in line with demands of petition 11807, and 2, that the town express its support for and stand in solidarity with Quebec physicians, medical professionals, and medical students in their efforts to preserve high-quality, accessible, and sustainable health care. 3, that a copy of this resolution be transmitted by the town clerk to the Premier of Quebec, François Legault, the Minister of Health and Social Services, Christian Dubé, the Member of the National Assembly for Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, the Member of Parliament for Westmount Notre-Dame-de-Grâce.
I second the motion.
Tous en faveur, all in favor?
Yes.
Merci. Administration and Finance, take approval of disbursement November 8 to December 12, 2025.
I move that the list of accounts payable from November 8th to December 12, 2025, totaling $1,399,986.87 and payroll in the amount of $383,455.80, period 46 to 50, be approved and paid.
I second the motion.
Tous en faveur, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. B, délégation de pouvoir pour le mois de décembre 2025.
Je propose que soit approuvé le rapport de la directrice générale concernant l'exercice des pouvoirs délégués en vertu du règlement numéro 2005-002 au mois de décembre 2025.
Je le seconde. Tous en faveur, all in favor?
Oui.
C, amendment to resolution 202-50929-011, sound system financing.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the resolution quoted entitled concerning the purchase of a sound system for the Recreation Center be amended by replacing budget code 02-920-70725 with 55-911-00000.
I second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Tous en faveur, all in favor?
Aye.
D, remboursement total de solde d'emprunt à l'échéance de celui-ci.
Attendu que la municipalité a réalisé un emprunt à long terme par billet pour financer les règlements d'emprunt numéro 2010-003, 2015-0-002, TEC numéro 966047 et 2015-002. Attendu que la date d'échéance de cet emprunt est le 2 mars 2026, attendu qu'à l'échéance, la somme et cet emprunt sera de 764 700 $, attendu que la municipalité souhaite rembourser le solde de cet emprunt à l'échéance plutôt que le financier. Je propose que la préambule, la première résolution fasse partie intégrante du dispositif de celle-ci. 2. Qu'à l'échéance de l'emprunt à long terme réalise pour financer les règlements de l'emprunt numéro 210-003, 215-002, TEC numéro 966047 et 2015-002. La ville de Montréal-Ouest rembourse en totalité le solde et cet emprunt en utilisant en ce qu'elle fait les surplus non affectés. Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur, all in favor?
Oui.
Merci. Calendrier de versement de la rémunération des membres du conseil.
Attendu que la loi sur le traitement des élus municipaux RLRQ chapitre T 11.001 détermine les pouvoirs du conseil en matière de fixation de la rémunération de ses membres. Attendu que l'article 24 de cette loi prévoit que cette rémunération et l'allocation de dépenses sont versées par la municipalité selon les modalités que le conseil détermine par résolution. Attendu que le conseil désire modifier les modalités de leur versement en établissant qu'elles soient payables sur une base bimensuelle et non plus mensuelle, je propose que la rémunération et l'allocation de dépenses des membres du conseil soient versées en 26 paiements égaux et consécutifs à toutes les 2 semaines.
Je le seconde.
Tous en faveur?
Oui.
Urban Development. A, Site Planning Project and Architectural Integration Program, SPAIP.
I move to acknowledge 1, receipt of the minutes of the meeting held by the Planning Advisory Committee PAC on December 10, 2025. 2, to approve as presented on the SPAIP the following plans submitted to this meeting in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 353 Brock North, replacement of side door. Replace the outside door. To defer the examination of following plans to the next meeting of this council in accordance with the recommendations of the pack as outlined in the minutes. 128 Stratford North, modification of a new two front windows following the conversion of the garage into a habitable space. And 353 Broad North, replacement of 22 exterior windows, as well as a proposal of new cladding for the rear extension.
I second it.
Tous en faveur, en faveur?
Yes.
Travaux publics, réception provisoire du centre sportif et récréatif.
Attendu que les travaux de construction du nouveau centre sportif et récréatif sont substantiellement achevés. En conséquence, je propose que Mme Raphaël Stasio, directrice générale, soit autorisée à signer au nom de la Ville tout document requis aux fins de la réception provisoire de l'ouvrage. 2. Que la réception provisoire de l'ouvrage soit effective une fois que les documents requis auront été signés par toutes les parties concernées.
Je le second.
Tous en faveur?
Oui.
Merci. Deposit of documents, register of gifts received by council members. An excerpt of the register of gifts, marks of hospitality and benefit received by council members in excess of value of $200 each was filed. No such benefits were entered on the register. B. Annual report on drinking water, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. This document, which the town was required to submit to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, was approved by the said ministry, was tabled with council. Says 16, notice of motion, reading and adoption of bylaws. A. Adoption of bylaw number 2025-003, bylaw enacting a code of ethics and good conduct for elected municipal officers and replacing bylaw number 2022-002.
I move, Mr. Mayor, whereas a copy of the bylaw in draft version was previously tabled at council meeting where the notice of motion was given and made available in accordance with the law. Whereas the purpose and scope of this bylaw were summed up at the present meeting and the only change from the draft has been the addition of a section concerning interference. Bylaw number 2025-003 entitled Bylaw Enacting a Code of Ethics and Good Conduct for Elected Municipal Officers and replacing bylaw number 2022-002 be adopted.
I support the motion.
Yes.
B. Je donne un avis de motion de la présentation à une prochaine séance du conseil d'un règlement intitulé Règlement sur les taxes de la ville de Montréal-Ouest pour l'exercice financier 2026. Un projet de règlement fut déposé au conseil et mis à la disposition du public. C. I give notice of motion that it is intended at a subsequent meeting of council to submit and for adoption a bylaw authorizing a loan of $3,845,040 for the carrying out of repair work on road, sidewalks, aqueduct, sanitary and storm sewer on Courtney Drive between the dead end and Valentine Avenue South and on the right of way of Valentine Avenue South between Courtney Drive and Royal Drive. The said bylaw in draft version was tabled with council and made available to the public. D. Avis de motion et dépôt d'un projet de règlement amendant le règlement de gestion contractuelle numéro 2019-004. Je donne avis de motion de la présentation à une prochaine séance du conseil d'un règlement intitulé Règlement amendant le règlement de gestion contractuelle 2019-004. Un projet de règlement fut déposé au conseil et mis à la disposition du public. Enfin, notice of motion and deposit of a draft bylaw amending bylaw number 2019-003 establishing the remuneration of town council members. I give notice of motion that it is intended at a subsequent meeting of council to submit for adoption a bylaw amending bylaw 2019-003 establishing the remuneration of town council members. The said bylaw and draft version was tabled with council and made available to the public. Nous sommes rendus à la deuxième période de questions publiques. This is the second public question period.
mayor mentioned Westminster revitalization project. I think that's one of the most hopeful and important items to come out of the election. I'd like to know, for example, I remember at least 10 years ago there was a master plan that seemed to have been shelved, unfortunately. I'm just wondering what the connection is with the former master plan, which would seem valid still, because nothing's really changed on Westminster. And what are the general parameters of the project that council is considering? Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. It's indeed an important project. When we'll start our strategic planning, we'll see how we can integrate that important project that will take many years to realize. At the moment, nothing has really, of course, started on Westminster. So we will work on it. And as for the master plan 2009 that you're referring to, so it's been almost 15 years, more than 15 years now. It was a quite good document. We need to follow the payback, like I talked earlier this evening. So we will have to redo our master plan by the next 2 years. So Westminster, it was written, I think, revitalized Westminster 15 years ago. But there were noticeably more details about it. So we'll start from that point, take everything that was written at the time, and see what's still relevant today, and start from there.
Okay, look, I just want to express as a resident that there was a lot of expectations and consequently some disappointment, but so pleased to see that council is taking up the challenge again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Mikey, 62 Roland.
Do you smile with your questions concerns only the agenda of tonight?
With regards to the notice of motion for the loan for Courtney Drive, do we know if, and I think that is to be clear in this, can we just confirm that it is going to be the hill coming from Courtney to Ronald, which has been closed off to the residents in the daycare for the past 2 years?
Yes, it's part of the project, yes.
And it will be usable again?
That's the intention, yes.
Perfect, thank you.
And Sophia Nichols, 25 West Visitors. Yes, I am in that area that's been designated as a place to redevelop. And as I said, 15 years ago, that plan, master plan, was, well, it didn't go through. There was a referendum. The community voted against it. And there were a few people that were upset because they couldn't have their condo to retire once they, I don't know, sold their houses, made lots of money, and had a small little place to stay within Montreal-Ouest. But some of us actually have family homes, especially on Valentine. We actually have families. We have girls who are going to university and perhaps one day will come back and have families of their own. And so I don't know if you guys thought about that, but it was defeated, the referendum in 2009 for the revitalization of Montreal-Ouest. So perhaps that might be something you might want to consider again. Just saying.
Yeah. Thank you for the information. Do you have any questions online? No questions online. Donc, levé de la séance.
Oui, monsieur le maire, je propose de lever la séance. Je l'appuie.
Ils sont en faveur?
Oui.
Oui.